You're listening to Let's Talk About It, a digital forum that holistically addresses the issues that arise in everyday life and the current affairs that are prevalent throughout our nation and that affect our culture. Let's join host Ty Priest Hannah now for today's discussion.
Let's talk about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I am your host Ty Priest Hannah, but of course, everybody calls me Ty. Thank you for allowing me to vibe with you for a few minutes. Listen fam, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you did something that was super magnificently fun because all I did was work. That's all I did. All I did was work, but work wasn't too stressful, which is a good thing. But not only that, I also had the opportunity to attend our church's fellowship conference, the Christian Covenant Fellowship of Ministries, better known as Ccfm, which our presiding prelate is none other than my pastor, Bishop Michael A. Blue. And our conference began last Wednesday going into the weekend. And even though we weren't able to gather at full capacity, the conference was still impactful. As a matter of fact, it was so impactful that what I want to share with you is actually influenced from a message given by one of the plenary speakers. On Thursday evening of the conference, Pastor Samuel Rodriguez, the senior pastor of New Season Christian Worship Center of Sacramento, California, delivered a powerful message. I mean, it was just phenomenal. He taught from the book of Acts chapter 3. Now, if you're not familiar with what's going on in Acts chapter 3, let me summarize it for you. Peter and John are on their way to the temple to have prayer. And as they are approaching the temple, there is this lame man, a man who has been lame actually since birth, lying at the gate called Beautiful, and he is begging for alms. As he sees Peter and John approaching, he looks on them expecting them to do what everybody else has done, and that is probably drop $1 or a quarter or what have you into his cup. But to his surprise, Peter looks at him and says, and I'm paraphrasing, "Why look on us? We ain't got no money. But what I do have is this, in the name of Jesus, arise and walk." The man instantly receives strength in his ankles, gets up, and he begins to walk. And that's basically the summary of the story. However, though, Pastor Rodriguez calls me to see something that I haven't seen before in all my years of reading that text. I mean, as many times as I've read and preached from that text, I have never, absolutely never seen it the way Pastor Rodriguez had it reenacted. At the opening of his message, Pastor Rodriguez had approximately 5 men join him on the platform. 2 of the men are to be Peter and John. 1 of the men is to be the lame man, and the other 2 are to be the guys who carried the lame man to the temple to beg for alms. Now, the text records that this man has been lame since birth, and every day he has to be carried to the same place to do the same thing: beg. We are not privy to know the man's age. We are just told that he has been lame since birth. So let's assume that this lame man is 40 years old. That would be approximately 14,600 days. And for 14,600 days, the same men took this same lame man to the same place to do the same thing every day for 14,600 days. And obviously, at no point did either of them have the instinct to say to this lame man, "Hey man, why don't you do something different? Why don't you do some type of research to see if the feeling can be restored in your legs?" Nobody said anything to that end. They just did what became normal to them. It wasn't until this man met Peter and John that he was challenged to do something that he had never done, and that is walk. When I saw this being illustrated, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, I was unable to contain myself. Like seriously, I was texting a whole lot of people telling them the revelation that God had given me. What I saw in this text was something that we all have trouble with, but may not even know it. The two men who are taking the lame man to the gate every day, they were enabling this man's dysfunction, while Peter and John challenged him to do better. Those two guys taking him to the same place to do the same thing every day, to a certain extent, they were actually holding him back. And how many of us are being held back because we are surrounded by people who are enabling our dysfunction? You need to be surrounded by people who are going to challenge you to be the best version of yourself. You need to be surrounded by people who aren't going to allow you to waste your life, who aren't going to allow you to wallow in defeat. They aren't going to allow you to be satisfied with the mediocre, but they are going to challenge you to be better. And being challenged can be frustrating because we so easily become comfortable. But if you're going to be successful or walk in any measure of greatness, you can't afford to be comfortable. You need to be surrounded by people who will tell you, hey, I love you, but you're better than that. Hey, listen, man, you need to change. Iron sharpens iron. The only way that you're going to grow and develop is by connecting with people who are going to challenge you to grow up. Stop hanging around people who are doing you a disservice, such as the one done to this lame man, by enabling your dysfunction, doing the same thing, taking you to the same place, you having the same conversations. Nothing ever changes. If there is an area of your life in which you are deficient, don't hang around people who are in the same boat as you. Connect with someone who has made it through that hurdle and walking in victory. He that walks or surrounds himself with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Successful people will only hang around successful people. Intelligent people or philosophical people or sophisticated people, they're not going to hang around people who are ignorant. They are going to hang around individuals who are just as philosophical, just as intelligent, just as sophisticated as them. Why? Because they want to stay sharp. They want to stay developed. They want to continue to learn. And if you are going to maximize your purpose in life, if you are going to reach your destiny, you need to stop hanging around people who are going to enable your dysfunction and hang around inhibitors, people who will challenge you. Well, listen, family, that's my time. I've really enjoyed our time together today, and I hope you have too. I really appreciate you allowing me to hang out with you for a few minutes. If you like what you hear or have a particular topic that you'd like to discuss, you already know what to do. Send me an email at ltaipodcast29501@gmail.com. Once again, that email address is ltaipodcast29501@gmail.com. Or you can even shoot me a text message at area code 843-799-7619. You already know I want to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It. This is Ty Hanna. I'm out. Peace.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You've been listening to Let's Talk About It.
Let's talk about